Can you explain to our viewers what is happening in Dhaka right now, in Bangladesh specifically? Are we staring at a situation that we will see a repeat of what happened in August 2024? What happened with Sheikh Hasina then? Are we likely to see something like that happening now with Muhammad Yunus? I mean, what's really happening?
Oh, well, thank you, Heena, for inviting me to talk to you on your show and representing my country. And I think that, again, you gave away a very important component of the discussion when you said that, again, when you mentioned, again, rumor is rife, and speculation. Because right now, again, none of us have actual literal proof. So, again, it's actually based on, again, either leaks in the media, or again in terms of stories that are floating out there, but some of them have actually come to the paper. And I agree with parts of the news coverage that you have had with the senior correspondent. Again, one of the issues that is actually the root cause of trouble right now is that, again, the timing of the elections. And I would like to emphasize this one thing. In Bangladesh, over the last 50-odd years since independence, it is true, like many other parts of the world, we have a democracy deficit. But it's a supreme irony that, again, the armed forces of Bangladesh, which is a professional organization, has been one of the staunchest upholders of democracy. And again, if you remember, on August 5th, the ouster of Sheikh Hasina, this was when the armed forces refused to keep on firing at their own civilians. So, and again, the army chief, General Wakar, had repeatedly stated that elections should be held as early as possible by probably December of this year, because also the army also wants to go back to the cantonment, because the army's job is to defend the borders. And again, law enforcement is not its cup of tea. He has made his intentions absolutely clear. And number two, what also is also been mentioned, and I'd like to, if you give me some time, is that, again, BNP right now is the largest political party in which is active after the banning of Army League. Now, that's another completely different story.
Right.
But again, BNP has also, again, it feels rather rightfully that the 2014 elections could have actually, could have been actually, excuse me.
Yes. Professor Abbasi, you've made some very pertinent points, and let me take those points across to my other guests as well. Padma Rao Sundarji, what is your assessment of what's really happening? What do you make of this threat, that has now come in from Muhammad Yunus? Because one thing is clear, Army, BNP seem to be on one side, and they do not seem to be on the same page with Muhammad Yunus. And why do you think Muhammad Yunus is not, perhaps declaring the date for elections? What could be the reason, really? Why should the country wait till June next year? I mean, he's been the advisor, the caretaker for almost a year already.
Good evening, Heena. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me on your show. Heena, I think, I'll answer your last question first. Why does he want to stay on? Specifically because he came to power, or if you like, as interim advisor at the helm of the students who eventually then declared themselves as the National Citizens Party, NCP of Bangladesh. So, they are very much still backing him, and they want him to stay on for another 5 years, and they want him to first bring about certain reforms to the Election Commission of Bangladesh. Now, these may be just, maybe this is just a ploy for them to use that time to consolidate themselves and, come into their own as a full-fledged political party, because they're a fledgling political party right now. And, which would then give them an opportunity to perhaps fight the elections, perhaps under interim advisor Muhammad Yunus himself. Now, I have met Mr. Muhammad Yunus, Nobel Prize laureate Muhammad Yunus, many times. I've interviewed him, and he has not, really come across as the kind of person. He enjoys tremendous respect across the board in Bangladesh, especially in rural Bangladesh, where I have traveled and spoken to many people, who have benefited from his Grameen Bank projects. But of course, all that can fade. And right now, I think I also want to remind you, because you said triangular contest, that there is a triangular contest, also a larger triangular contest going on. There is China, which, both Bangladesh as well as Myanmar, further to the south, are members of China's BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. And of course, there's the United States trying to protect its own geostrategic interests in the region. It has troops in Cox's Bazar even as we speak. And there is Pakistan, the very large and very obvious elephant in the room. Now, I don't think your question is India going to get involved. I don't think India is going to get involved beyond heightened security along the northeastern border, which is happening already. And India has also announced an alternate route to circumvent Bangladesh's chicken neck altogether to get from northeast to northeast. So what is going down in Bangladesh? BNP obviously wants Yunus to step down and announce elections so that it can return to power. Especially in the absence of the Awami League, which has been banned altogether. Then there is the army under General Waqar Zaman, as you rightly pointed out. He is also pushing Yunus to hold elections by December. And remember that unlike in Pakistan, army coups, very often we think of army, and when an army general speaks up, we think of military coups.
Yes.
They have not met with much success in Bangladesh. And of course, finally, the students' groups and their newly formed NCM, as I told you, they want him to remain in power.
Right.
Now, what is on Professor Yunus's mind himself? I think he's beginning to get used to and beginning to perhaps like being in the driver's seat.
Okay.
He has been silent on many of the shenanigans.
But the point really is, can he continue to be there? Because he seems to be losing the support now. There are several contentious issues here. And Ms. Bhaswati Mukherjee, I want to understand from you, what is your reading of the whole situation? And are you also, of the view that, we are perhaps moving